goalpost is coming down, folks. And there she goes.
Woo! What a week of college football. Welcome to the wrap-up presented by Allstate. Alongside me, I have former Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback and national champion, A.J. McCarron. What's good, my boy?
I'm ready to get into these games.
Oh, man. And speaking of games, the one that you guys just saw off the top, the Red Raiders having their team storm the field, goalposts coming down. I mean, what an atmosphere, even though you beat the top 25th ranked team in the country. Opinion, thoughts?
What are we doing? Like, let's act like we've been there, guys. They're only the 25th ranked team. I mean, you're 2-0. It's the second game of the year. I could see if they were number one, but hey, I guess take it how you can.
Yeah, you get your backup quarterback in there, get a nice win against a ranked opponent. I guess you do celebrate, but it is to say, I saw some things on social media saying that they brought down the goalposts on purpose, the equipment staff team, and it's because you can get fined when your fans hang on to that equipment, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at our favorite video of the day, even though that was up there on my list. And we're going to start with you, AJ, from a game that we all had our eyes on.
My man.
Oh, that shoe looks disgusting.
Yeah, terrible idea first and foremost. You can tell by the mustache and the haircut that we got problems.
They call that the shoey.
Yeah, I think he did the shoey a little too early.
I wonder what type of beer that he put in there. I know my people up in Iowa love the Busch Lights, and that's what they usually drink, which brings me to my favorite video of the day from my people from Iowa. And this is a series they call El Assico. And they call it El Assico because this game is always interesting, with turnovers, with low scoring, and a crazy ending. Missed field goals. Iowa, they scored 7 points last week off of 2 safeties, and now Matt Campbell gets his first win in the Cy-Hawk series, his whole entire tenure of being with the Cyclones in El Assico, rainy day. I mean, just talk about everything you expect from that game.
The offense has just been on absolute fire. Not in a good way. Dumpster fire. And we got to figure out some sort of way to start scoring some points because we're in trouble.
Hey, man, I lived in Iowa for 3 years. Those people love their football, but, man, do they go through it. However, this Cyclone game means everything to them, and El Assico lived up to its reputation today. But another game that lived up to its reputation, AJ, was Texas versus Alabama. We all had our eyes on it, so let's hop into the highlight for the Fire game. Number 1 team in the country going in Austin, and in the first quarter, game tied at 3. On the first play of the drive, Jace McClellan says, just like MC Hammer, you can't touch this thing. No.
Scooby, he gone.
81 yards, he gone.
He gone.
Oh, man, that got Alabama up 10-3. And then later in the first, Texas driving now. Quinn Ewers was dealing, and he hits Xavier Worthy here. Boom, for a bomb. 46 yards down the field. Man, he was going to work.
Yeah, Texas offense early took multiple shots and had the deep game working. I hate it for Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn ended up leaving the game with a clavicle sprain, but 3 plays later, Bijan Robinson, best running back in the country, makes reservations for how many?
6.
Yes, that is correct. Texas ties it at 10. Fourth quarter, Texas up by 6. Bryce Young throws it to Jahmyr Gibbs on some crazy, I get out the pocket and make a play some way, somehow. Alabama takes a 1-point lead in the fourth. We go with 1:34 left with Texas going for the lead here. Bert Auburn, after missing a field goal earlier in the game, I can be your hero, baby. It's 19-17 late. They're feeling good over there. That's when he took the shoot.
Too much time.
And you are right. They got a Heisman winner on that side. That is Bryce Young finding Gibbs for a 20-yard gain. That puts him on the Texas 47. And then the play of the day. Whoops!
Love it.
Oh, my Lord. I should have saved the "you can't touch this" line for here. How did he pull that off?
Being tiny. That's how, because I would have pulled a hamstring or something. But unbelievable play. He saw the blitz late. They played zero, and he made a play.
And the Alabama kicker comes in clutch, does his thing.
Ice in the veins, baby.
Blouses. Alabama wins 2019 in an early road non-conference test. Young, 27 for 39, 213 yards, a touchdown, 0 interceptions, 7 carries, 38 yards rushing. They win this in a game that they could have easily given their opponent the dub, but these true road games are really tough, especially when you fail to get the crowd out of it early. I mean, Texas has over 100,000 people at this game, and you're a former Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback. I'm sure you've played in some Heisman, in some environments like this. What's the best way to deal with such an environment, and what have you done in your experience when you've been in it?
Well, like you said, playing in a hostile environment, you have to go in and get points early. And you have to find a way. Your defense on the other side of the ball has to play well to keep their fans from having something to cheer for. So Bama struggled doing that. You know, I look back at this game and kind of relate it to, I played my first year starting. We played Florida down at the Swamp, night game, and they scored on the very first play of the game, 85-yard bomb. And when I went out for the first play, we called it from the sidelines. Everybody got the play. They signaled in the second play, and I was yelling at the top of my lungs.
Trying to get the play off.
Trying to get the play in the huddle. And all I could see was the lineman screaming at me, "What? What?" And I had to call timeout. So we ended up scoring 4 possessions in a row and really just took the crowd straight out of the game. And that's how we silenced them.
Man, and a place like the Swamp and certain arenas, right? I did some research when I was doing some sideline reporting in Kansas. They talked about certain stadiums are louder than others because they're essentially built underground. So you think of it the same concept, like when you put your phone in a cup and then it's louder, or phone in a sink, it's louder. So certain stadiums have that same type of design to help bring the crowd noise even louder. And Florida is one of those places, and Texas is one of those places, which is really hard when you don't get the crowd out of it early. But one of the best things you can do is run the ball. And Alabama really struggled to run the ball. Besides that 81-yard touchdown that we saw, the offensive line wasn't getting much push.
Yeah, I don't know. And you really couldn't tell that it was going to be a problem the first week against Utah State, right? You know, Bryce Young had 103 rushing yards.
Career high?
Yeah, career high. And most of those came from pass plays that protection broke down or something, and he just scrambled and make things happen. So they got to figure out a way to get this running game established, get some push up front, because when they go down this SEC West stretch for sure, more than any of them, you have to be able to run the football. You can't rely on Bryce. I understand Bryce is, you know, the reigning Heisman winner. And he's a fantastic player, possibly the best offensive player in the country.
Facts.
But you have to establish a run game and help him out when it comes to play action, drop back passing, and we got to be better up front and in the backfield. Jahmyr Gibbs had a couple of mishaps today in protection. We got to figure out how to solve those problems.
Texas did a really good job at just hitting Bryce Young and getting some pressure on him. And one of the things that Nick Saban said last week, you brought up how he had 100 yards rushing. They win 55-0. Nick Saban, one thing that he says is our design runs didn't get that much progress. And what happens the week after? Their design runs were a problem. Now, speaking of a Heisman favorite type of quarterback, Florida versus Kentucky. Anthony Richardson was getting all the Heisman buzz coming out of their win against Utah. These dudes jumped to 12th in the country. And then he comes out and straight up lays an egg. Gets outperformed by Levis, and now that Heisman buzz has settled down now. So my question to you is, was the hype too much for Florida after week 1?
I don't know. You know, anytime you have a big emotional win like that, Coach Napier's first game in his tenure at Florida, and an emotional win, it can be very draining. So it's almost really hard to come back the next week and be on top of your A game. They just started slow. Anthony Richardson all night long really looked like he just could not find a rhythm. I mean, you could see it in his eyes. Like, his eyes got big. When he started to miss throws, and he missed a ton of throws tonight, dude's wide open that he didn't miss last week. It was like it was a thought in his mind, like, uh-oh, this is going bad. And at the quarterback position, you get that in your head, it's over with. It's hard to shake. I mean, in golf terms, it's like you're going out and all of a sudden you shank one off, and it's like, and somebody says, oh, he's got the shanks. Like, it will stick with you. So he's got to find a way next week. Coach Napier's got to find a way to get him back in a rhythm, because tonight was it was rough.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I saw from him. I felt like the play calling didn't really help him out that much.
Yeah.
And you could see it within his eyes. The camera comes in front of the quarterback. You can see his body language. It didn't seem confident. It didn't seem like that dude who was ready to bring his team down the field and score. He was definitely doing the Sam Darnold of I am seeing ghosts.
Because, like you said, the worst part about it was his 2 picks, right? One's off an RPO, slipping the slider to the backside. If you miss that throw, miss it out in front of him where it's more towards the out of bounds, he leaves it inside, the DN picks it off, and then the second one was really bad. I mean, he threw a hit straight into cover 2. The corner just squatted the whole time, pick 6. And after that is really when you saw, like, he was not himself. And it looked like he was seeing ghosts. So hopefully he's a great player. He's a hell of an athlete. Hopefully he bounces back next week and gets back in a rhythm and produces again.
First time Kentucky has beaten Florida in back-to-back seasons since 1976. All right, now it's time for Saturday shoutouts presented by nobody. But that's all good because your boys got you. AJ, last week was fun. We got some things to start off this week.
Got some
We're starting
bangers.
off with best leapfrog. Tennessee versus Pittsburgh. Gavin Bartholomew, 6'4", over 200 pounds. My boy is a professional hurdler.
Get up, big man.
I mean,
that's a great move.
To be able to, first of all, get up in the air, hurdle like that, and keep your balance to run, that's a different type of athleticism right there.
Yeah, I mean, especially for a big guy like that. Tight ends, you don't see a whole lot of tight ends making those plays.
And if you're 6'4", over 250 pounds, I'm hitting you low every single time. So guys like that, they've just said, listen, if you gonna hit me low, I'm gonna go high. All right, next one, best walk-off. UTS versus Army. QB Frank Harris throws a dime in overtime to DeCorian Clark. Give me that. My boy said it's on your head. Randy Moss, what up? Because that was a game winner. UTS playing in their second overtime game in back-to-back weeks. I don't know what's up with this team, but they just like to give us entertainment.
I mean, they've been battling. They battled last week and then another great game this week. That was a great job by the quarterback, giving the receiver a chance to go up and make a play.
I mean, those are always my favorite throws when my quarterback when the DBs turn around and he puts it right at the left side of the top of his head. That's game time.
As a quarterback, whenever you see the DB back towards you, that's an automatic throw it right above his head. There's no way he can turn around and make a play on it. It's going to be pass interference or it's going to be completion.
Just licking the chops.
Lick the lips. Lick the lips.
Licking the chops. All right, we got biggest meltdown coming up next, and this was Duke versus Northwestern. The Wildcats battled back after being down 21-10 at halftime, and Evan Hall fumbles into the end zone as the game was just about to end, Brandon Johnson recovered the fumble. Now, here's the thing about Evan Hall. This dude was balling out of control. He had 213 yards receiving, the most by a running back, 65 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. But damn, hold on.
He did all that work for nothing. Did all that work for nothing.
Hey, don't they? But hey, come on now. They don't always say that one play described the entire game.
That one did.
And that's why we're calling it the biggest meltdown, because you had it right there, my boy. The end zone was right in front of you, but you melted before you could cook. Next one, we got the worst miss. Washington State versus Wisconsin.
Oh, no.
And we talked about my love for kickers last week and how you have one job to do. And that wasn't blocked, ladies and gentlemen. The laces were out, and that went.
I wanted to. Can our production team? Can we get that again?
Run that back for us real quick.
That was something. Hurricane winds all of a sudden, I'm guessing.
I think the wind is blowing 100 miles per hour towards the left.
Scooby, what do you usually say? My boy.
My boy. Figure it out. Can we just get rid of kickers in the game? Let's just do one-on-ones at the 10-yard line to determine. Isn't that what fan football does, XFL? Let's start doing that, because I'm sick and tired of seeing y'all miss kicks that you should be hitting.
Well, see, I can't get rid of Bama's kicker. He stepped up today.
He did his thing today.
He win it. So I'm keeping him.
Yeah, I know, but Bama has had their kicking troubles though. Let's not forget about that. All right, best trick play. And don't we all just love a flea flicker? We got Miami versus Southern Miss. Mario Cristobal has his team needing to get on the board. Nice. A pair of third-quarter touchdowns, barely 2 minutes apart, is what opened up this game. They were struggling early, and a play like that is what sets it off for your offense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every once in a while you need offense struggling. You need a play that can get some juice going for the guys. Even if it doesn't work every time, just the fact that you run it kind of brings a little bit of juice and life to the offense, to the team. Because if it's even close to working,
execution,
it gets. But I mean, this is flawless execution right here. Great job by the receiver. Yeah, the great job by the receiver going up, acting like he was going to block the safety, and then slip it on by him and make it a play.
Man, they really had them trolled on that play, which is why our next one is going to be biggest troll. And A.J., this is ya boys. The Alabama Crimson Tide, they got the horns down gesture to Texas fans as they're coming off the field. The disrespect. First off, Alabama been there before, but they're still letting them know that we got one over y'all.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've won many games, but we haven't been there in a very long time. So you got to show them horns down automatically.
But you're saying you got to show them, but there's one guy specifically on that sideline who does not want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw the video of Nick Saban. As soon as the game ended, he's running onto the field, and I forgot, was it the linebacker?
Yeah. Yep.
He was standing over the tight end, like horns down. Saban running off the field. Hey, cut that, SH, out. So he doesn't like it.
No, he's not big into the talking aspect of it, talking trash. But at some point, you win a game like that.
Horns down.
Got to do
it. All right, real quick. When y'all do things like that, as Saban made you guys run gassers, I mean, after a game like they had today, what is kind of his, all right, the game is over, y'all got to see me tomorrow punishment?
I don't know. We won too much when I was there, so we never really had those. And then
all right, AJ,
we lost.
AJ just won all the time because he was playing on one of the all-time great Alabama teams. Those were our Saturday shout-outs presented by your boys. Okay, that segment wasn't sponsored, but this one is. Time now for our mayhem moment from today's action, brought to you by Allstate. In only week 2, Bryce Young has already cemented his Heisman moment. Fourth quarter, Bama down 2, just over 30 seconds left. Oh, you thought you got me? Psych! Slips him and gets 20 yards on the play. I mean, AJ, this play right here will be talked about probably all season. And you spoke to Bryce on the radio after the game. And what makes this play so crazy that it was instinctual for Bryce. It wasn't something that he was like, oh, I'm going to do this. It was just something that he naturally does because the dude is a naturally good football player. What did he say about what he saw before and during the play?
Yeah, you could tell, and I saw it pre-snap from the TV copy while watching it live, but I could see the flat top, and anytime the safeties and most of the secondary are all on the same level means they're going to cover 0. And so I could tell usually in college teams will like to blitz, corner cat is what I call it, but blitz the corner from the boundary when they're into the short side. So they ended up bringing nickel in corner. And both of them played cover 0 behind it. He said he was late to see it and just kind of played off reaction then. And, I mean, a hell of a play by making the corner miss because I don't know how he did it. But getting low to the ground, I mean, the corner was there, like had him. And he just slipped out. Unbelievable play, and it definitely changed the game.
Bryce Young, 6 feet tall, about 190 pounds.
If that.
Matt Miller, our draft scout for ESPN, said his height just saved him on that play. The draft scouts like to complain about players' heights at the quarterback position, but hey, right there, the height clearly helped him out. And Bryce Young really stepped up when the team needed him to step up. I mean, throughout the game, the drive before that, it was like he found something, and then as soon as Texas went down and scored, he came back and he had the same mojo that he found. Would you say that Bryce Young has a great chance of repeating a Heisman, becoming only the second person to ever do that?
I think for right now, yeah. I mean, I think it's between him and CJ. Stroud put up good numbers today. You know, it wasn't a huge number day for Bryce. Like, I think it was just a couple of key plays that he had that could separate him when it comes to the Heisman talk. But I think he threw for 201 yards or something like that, and only 1 TD. I mean, when's the last time that the Alabama offense only had 1 passing touchdown? I mean, I'm sure you got to go back a while. So, but if he keeps making plays like that and keeps Bama on top, yeah, I think he's got to be the favorite.
Yeah, I think so too. And then when you look at the teams that he's competing against that are at the top of the list, you mentioned Ohio State, you mentioned Georgia. Which one of these teams has the favor for that number 1 spot right now? I'm just bringing up those 3 teams. Who's a top-ranked team in the country? Last week we argued about this, and you said it is the team that is ranked number 1. How about now, sir?
I still think it's Bama. I think only because Georgia didn't play a big team today, so you can't really, they win big. You can't blow that the Bama game up more than what it is. I mean, they went into a hostile environment playing Texas. Texas is a really good team. I think Texas is a top 15 team in the country. Hopefully the rankings will show that after this weekend, but I still think it's Bama, and then I think it's Georgia, and then Ohio State.
Yeah, for the people that saw Florida climb from unranked to 12th in the country, you're going to see Texas climb into that ranking. And I brought up Florida. There were some mayhem upsets today as well. So there were 3 of them just this afternoon. Number 8, Notre Dame loses to Marshall. Wisconsin to Washington State. You're seeing that celebration right there. And then Texas A&M loses to App State as well. AJ, what the heck is going on? 2 losses for 2 top 10 teams and another in the top 20.
Quarterback play from both of these teams. I mean, A&M, Haynes King struggled today. I mean, 13 of 20 for 97 yards. 97 yards the whole game. Like, they're having a hard time. And for Jimbo Fisher to be this offensive guru, he's got to figure it out. Whether that's changing quarterbacks, coming up with some different schemes, but they got to find a way because the QB play right now, they're not able to push the ball down the field, have some explosive plays. They're hurting.
Yeah, and when you look at App State and Texas A&M, App State, how many 4- and 5-star recruits do they have on their team? 1. How many does Texas A&M have on their team? How does 54 sound for y'all?
Woo.
56, excuse me. But all right, so for Notre Dame, they went against Ohio State last week, and one of the things that people talked about is this Ohio State defense. Now they have Jim Knowles over there with them. Has he helped make this Ohio State defense better? Everyone thought the Ohio State defense is good because they shut down Notre Dame. We see the Notre Dame offense this week against Marshall, and they don't play well. What does this say about Notre Dame, and what does it say about Ohio State?
One, you know my opinion on Notre Dame.
Overrated?
Overrated. I think they're the most overrated program in college football, team every year for whatever reason. It just works out that way. But it does make you question, how good is Ohio State? And they played Arkansas State today. You win 45-12, I think. But it makes you question, okay, is Ohio State as good as we think, too?
Yeah.
Even though they have a ton of weapons on offense, still missing their best receiver. But it definitely makes you question because Notre Dame looks bad. They look really bad today. Tyler Buchner, a fantastic athlete, but he has to progress and grow as a passer. It seems like he's a one-read guy. His first read's not there, and he's taking off and trying to run. And we talked about it last week. He was taking way too many hits. He's not a big guy that a Cam Newton, a Josh Allen, a guy with that stature. I don't know how you can take that many hits as a quarterback and survive. And I think it showed today. He goes out late in the game. Drew Pine, the backup, comes in, and it looked like Tyler Buchner most likely broke his collarbone, his left collarbone. So, and then Drew Pine comes in and throws a pick himself. Marshall had 3 interceptions today. Huge for them. Unbelievable play by them. They deserve a bunch of the credit for sure.
Oh, yeah, and you brought up Ohio State, which brings us to our next topic. Let's check out the unbeatable performances from today, brought to you by Xfinity. The Buckeyes' Big Three went cray-cray this afternoon against Arkansas State, winning 45-12. C.J. Stroud, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Travion Henderson accounted for every Ohio State touchdown. A.J., how much confidence do you have in this OSU offense this season? I mean, is this game a big deal, even though they blew out a team that you would consider a cupcake game?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. They were supposed to beat Arkansas State, right? I mean, they're supposed to blow them out. They came out. They performed well. They executed well, how they were supposed to as an offense. Marvin Harrison's son is unreal. I mean, he looks just like him.
You your daddy's son. For real. I mean, 7 catches, 184 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He becomes just the second Ohio State player to have multiple 3-touchdown games in their career. That says something, and that is some company to have. Without Jackson Smith and Jigba in that lineup, he's having to find other guys to get connected with, and it seems like this is huge for this offense.
Huge.
To just get clicking, because last week they couldn't figure it out, and we're saying this offense is about to be on a historical pace.
Yeah, I mean, once they get him back from injury, and they keep this connection, their offense can be very, very dangerous. And it's going to be exciting to watch as the season goes on for sure.
All right. Now, before we leave, we have our producer, Shelby, who's usually on this show, but she's out in Michigan. And we want to shout out to her because she was receiving an award at her alma mater, Michigan State. She's a former member of the Spartan swimming team. Her award honors former student athletes with a distinguished career and hers is being in sports media, particularly here at the ESPN digital team. Shelby, my girl, we love you, and we can't wait to have you out back over here. Joe, he put that we hated him in the script, but I'm telling you, I love you too, Joe. Great job producing. And everybody that's watching the show, thank you for tuning in. AJ, it was a vibe, my guy. Let's do this again next
brother.
week.
Always.
Thank you for y'all for watching. That is the wrap up. We're done. Peace. Presented by Allstate. We got you in good hands.